This is Raza here, and in today's video, I have with me Mr. Jimmy, all the way from USA. First of all, thank you so much, sir, for having your time and managing that time for this interview from your busy schedule. It's a real honor for me to be with you discussing about entrepreneurship. So, first of all, sir, give a brief introduction to the audience so that the audience may know you as well.
Thank you for having me on here for this interview. I definitely appreciate being invited. My name is Jamie Millar, originally from London, England. I've been living in the US now for 24 years, and I'm 43 years of age, and I figured out around 41, 42 what I want to be when I grow up, Mohammed. So hopefully that will help your audience.
Will be proceeding with questions. The first question here is that as you're an entrepreneur and you're now 43 years of age, so lots of experience as well, obviously. So how will you suggest students and the newcomers who want to start their startup, and how can they think of new ideas that have value in the market?
So typically typically what's taught out there is you want to find a problem and then have a solution to overcome that problem. And as a result of that, you can create a business. Today's world, you've got to be, I would say, you've got to embrace originality. You've got to embrace your uniqueness. The way of the world right now doing business is actually doing things like what we're doing right now. It's all about getting accustomed to the virtual space. If you can conduct business based on a virtual platform, then it doesn't matter what virus or anything on the planet comes along, you will have a business that, for encouraging entrepreneurs out there starting today, I would say find something that, one, you're passionate about, that you love. All right. Yeah. I had what I would say is my Jerry Maguire evening, where I had a sleepless night back in 2018, where I had to figure out, where does Jamie Millar provide value for anybody else out there? All right. And it happened to be, I studied communication. So I figured the world needs help in understanding how to consciously communicate at a higher level. Exactly. And it's not stuff that's taught in conventional education.
So that's how you got it. So
for your audience?
Yes. So how will you suggest students for this, for finding out the ideas for the startup? So that was basically your journey, obviously, but obviously the generation has changed, the era has changed due to COVID-19, obviously. So it is very difficult for all of us here, the younger generation, to basically get ourselves going. So basically the way of thinking,
no,
I'm talking about the way of thinking, actually. Yes.
Look, we always have these thoughts. I wish I would have done something sooner. If I'm talking to a very young audience, Mohammed, and how they're going to get started, the truth of the matter is, if you love what you do, genuinely, you will never work a day in your life. Right? If you're passionate about what you do, every individual has to find something they're passionate about. If it's just about making money, money comes as a result of doing something you love and having an impact on the most people possible. Typically, you can have, I would suggest to people that they're going to learn lessons. It's just part and parcel of being an entrepreneur. You're going to have situations where you're going to have to learn how to not do things going forward, and you're going to have to be able to adapt and pivot, whether COVID comes your way or whether other things come your way, Mohammed. So the startup idea, I would never force someone to do something. Tons of people say that they're entrepreneurs when they become a realtor. The truth of the matter is, a lot of them have an employee mindset still. So they don't, just because you decide you want to leave the corporate world or work somewhere, doesn't immediately make you an entrepreneur. Exactly. All right. I know that I believe you're going to ask me questions about advice with regards to business plans, and maybe that will open up some more thought processes for your audience as to how to actually get started and what's needed, because people are given the wrong advice out there when it comes to that kind of things, Mohammed, and it causes what's called analysis paralysis. So the biggest thing that people can do is dive in to a business. All right. And anyone you ever meet, anybody out there who says success is like this, run the opposite direction. All right. Because, and that would be the best advice I can give someone going to start out, right, in any business, is to understand that the most successful people out there, when they're humble, all right, and they remove ego from their lives, they would share with you their successes and their failures, all right, and where they've learned lessons. Failure is only a problem if you don't learn from it. And that's my key advice I would give your listeners out there.
Well, that's very pretty well answered, sir. So the next question here is that if you are starting a new business, obviously you have to get that first impression well, because obviously as an entrepreneur, if you have a good impression, good first impression in the market, then your business will grow eventually. So how to get draw attention to a new product for your new business startup in the market?
Okay, so here's a caveat. You business, they get guilty of doing something called oversharing. What they do is they get particularly passionate about something, and then they want to share that with the whole entire world.
Yes, exactly.
This is me, this is what I do, and they want to share that. And the truth of the matter, that's a very amateur approach, because what they're doing is they're telling people things without finding out, do the people value what it is that you bring to the table? So if I was looking to attract you as a client, Mohammed, I'm not going to tell you what I do. I'm going to get you to sell yourself on what I do. For example, Mohammed, would you say the ability to communicate, would you say that's very important for what you do for a living or looking to do as an entrepreneur? Would you say communication is critical?
Yes, it is critical. I think it is, because obviously you have to be a good speaker, good public speaker, if you want to be a good entrepreneur. Next question is that basically there are two techniques which we have studied in our ongoing entrepreneurship course. Actually, we are studying entrepreneurship as a course of study for our electrical engineering, bachelor's in electrical engineering. So in entrepreneurship course, we have studied two techniques for achieving goal: effectuation and causation. We're studying book by Robert H. Hisrich, Entrepreneurship by Robert H. You may know the author as well. So what would you recommend as an entrepreneur if you had to choose one technique, effectuation or causation, and why?
I don't believe you can be successful as an entrepreneur and be risk averse, for example, and causation would be more of a risk aversion approach. The other scenario is this: I don't believe in competition. I believe in an abundance mindset. There's enough to go around for everyone. And if you focus too much on your competition, you're going to be, what I believe, fighting a losing standpoint. I mean, from an effectuation standpoint, I believe that's going to be more helpful. It's interesting that you say you're helping electrical engineers. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. This electrical engineers.
Okay. Engineers, typically in the US, an engineer is very analytical. All right. And typically they need to know every single component of everything before they go past go.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm here to share maybe a little bit of I'm here to share there's a different approach that if the engineers adopted, they would understand. Someone like Warren Buffett, for instance, he makes decisions based on only 30% of the knowledge. Richard Branson, who's an entrepreneur who I love. Have you heard of Richard Branson? He owns Virgin
Yes, I've heard the name. I've heard the name, but I haven't studied him yet, but I have heard the name.
It's obviously with technology these days, you're a bit muffled there, Mohammed.
Yes.
Basically, he makes decisions on people and ideas within 60 seconds. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening. Please carry on.
Mohammed, it's a little bit...
yeah, I'm listening, sir.
I don't know what our connection is like here.
Well, there's a problem in the connection.
Okay, I just don't...
I'm listening, yes. I'm listening. I can hear you.
So Richard Branson makes decisions in 60 seconds flat. Engineers, typically, they won't do those kind of things. They want to know 100% of everything. So if I can give any advice to your audience, if it is going to be electrical engineers watching this, you need to adopt more of a theory of not having everything known, because that would cause analysis paralysis. So I would lean more to effectuation.
Okay. So the next question is that what aspects an entrepreneur should keep in mind while creating a business plan?
Can you repeat that, please?
Oh, sorry. I was saying that what aspects an entrepreneur should keep in mind while creating a business plan, because obviously business plan is the main thing, the main document behind the whole business setup. So creating a business plan can be very, very difficult at times when you are just starting a new business. So what aspects a junior student who want to start his new business, then what aspects he should be keeping in mind while creating a business plan?
You're looking at someone, Mohammed, who's got a successful six-figure business, and I didn't ever have a business plan. I still don't have a purpose consciously, and that's why I share with you the lessons I'm going to teach your audience are a little bit different. All right. A lot of people go out there and they think, oh, you need to have a business plan. You need to have business cards. You need to have a website. You need to have all these things in order to have a business.
Yes.
And there's only three things you need in order to have there's three things you need to have a business. I know plenty of people who go out there, they do the business plan, they do the business cards, and they never get to a place where they feel ready to start their business. They do so much research, so much analysis that it causes paralysis. So my take on it is I find the opportunity and I say yes to it. And then I figure out what I need to do to accommodate those opportunities after the fact. All right. A business comes down to three things, Mohammed. One, do you believe in yourself? If you believe in yourself, that's the first component. The second component you need to have is, can you get somebody else out there to believe in you too? If you can get them to believe in you, that's a great second thing. The third thing that you need to have a successful business is you need someone to place a value on what you bring so that you can make money from that. So a business plan, as far as I'm concerned, is meaningless, all right, unless you go and take actual actions on it. And I believe what happens is you can absolutely adopt a business plan as you go, but the initial starting point, if you decide I need to do a business plan first, it's going to be a long time before you get started with anything.
Exactly. Well, I understand.
Does that make sense? So that would be a little bit of a different lesson than most entrepreneurs will share with you.
Well, yeah, that's pretty well answered, sir. Well, I completely understand what you are trying to say that here. We have to just keep going. We have to start, and rather than studying too much and getting too much analysis there. So creating a business plan obviously can be difficult as well. So you just need to start. You're saying it right, and believe in yourself. Okay.
I think a business plan can evolve, Mohammed, with the business. You don't need, if someone tells you need a business card to get business because it makes you look professional, I'll share with you, I've never had a business card. If people tell you need a website, I only got a website about 3 weeks ago, Mohammed. But for the last year and a half, I've earned over 6 figures without one. So no one can tell me you need to have these things in place in order
these are all textbook things we have studied in our textbooks. We are told by our elders and all those high profile entrepreneurs. So these are all textbook things, obviously. So we have to just study them. You can't implement them, obviously.
Do you mind if I share something? There's no textbook. Sure. There's no classroom. There's no classroom that will teach you business.
Yes.
There isn't one. You can't, no textbook. And even the teachers who teach them, all right, look at their teachers in conventional colleges, look at the lifestyles, look at what they've got for themselves, and ask yourself, do you want to copy that individual? The best books out there are like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. All right, that's a book. All right, that basically, that's something that, if you look at it, it's based on actual habits you have. It's not creating It doesn't talk about business plans, marketing, productivity. It talks about finding someone who's already got what you want, copy them. All right. If that's it,
Yeah, I understand.
version. But very few classrooms are going to teach you what you need to have a successful business.
Yes, exactly. Very, very well said, sir.
Out there.
So the last question is that obviously, how can we stay connected with high profile entrepreneurs? How can we stay connected with high profile entrepreneurs? Because obviously, if we want to start a business, a new business, then we must be connected with those people who have already done that kind of a business to get learned from their experience. So we have to be connected with those high profile entrepreneurs. So how can we stay connected with those who have already done that kind of a business, and how important it is, obviously?
Great question. It's going to be the lifeline. That question is going to be the lifeline of your business.
Yes.
All right. That's where a business, there's a book called Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. You want to create what he calls these weak connections. All right. Not friends, not family, weak connections out there with people so that you can be in touch with them and they will promote your business for you. But you've got to be able to deliver on the product or service that you are working within, right? Because if I recommend you, for instance, Mohammed, to somebody else to do business for them, and you do a poor job, that's not a reflection on you, it's a reflection on me.
Yes.
So you need to be able to, one, I would say communication, the ability to communicate, news here in the US, all right, doing a piece. And what I did to get on the news is I had to proactively reach out to the news station to get on that news. With regards to yourself, would you say that you are someone who's high profile where you are?
I didn't understand what you were saying. Kindly can you repeat that?
Are you high profile?
No, I'm not. I'm just still a student. I'm still 21. I'm not.
One of the things people should be doing to get high profile connections, Mohammed, is you've got to be on social media. With what's going on in the world, you've got to be on social media. You have an audience that's going to watch this interview, Mohammed. All right.
It's on YouTube, actually. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, but you're still going to have do you have subscribers to your?
Well, I've just started YouTube channel, so not much subscribers, actually 900 something.
Okay, so watch this. You've just done an interview with me. There's potentially 900 people who could watch that interview.
Yes.
All right. So how did I get you to want to interview me? All I did was the one post on LinkedIn.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You reached out to me. So I would encourage your viewers, if you're asking me, how do people get in touch with high profile people?
Yes.
They do unique original posts on social media platforms that encourage people to reach out to them. All right. And that is the biggest lesson that I can give people in transparency. You met me through LinkedIn. I never called you. I never reached out to you. You just have to deliver valuable content. People know
there's a problem. There's one big problem here because, I have tried so many times. I've tried connecting lots of people, but only few replied. And you was the one who replied. Well, not much people replied. And that is the basic problem because you have to convince people to connect with you. And that's the issue. Because I'm trying to connect with lots of people, but they were just ignoring those messages and all that stuff, and it's very tough here because you have to convince them, basically.
I would share with you. Look, you had another gentleman who's an entrepreneur on your show.
Yeah, Mr. Jeff Hagee, yes, recently.
Hey, if I could help you get more entrepreneurs from over here to say yes to you,
yes,
all right, because would you agree with me that convincing is wrong? If you can communicate more effectively, do you think you would get more response?
Yes, if I can communicate better, then it would be But if only if they see my messages, only if they respond, just like you, not all the people are
Your
good.
message is still, your message is still not clear, all right, in terms of what you're asking. All right. So so for instance, well, we can actually do this so it helps your audience. All right. Okay. Everything. Watch this. This is your first message. It's long.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
You happen to catch me at a good time, and all throughout your whole bit here. All right. There's really no direct question. Everything is, this is who you are, and everything's I'm doing this, I just did this, I am really liked, I am very much interested in, sir, I am also a content, I make videos, I am looking, you know, it's all I. And here's the reason why you're not getting people. No one cares about what you want, Mohammed.
Yes.
Nobody on the
Yeah, I
planet
understand
cares.
that. Now I understand that. Yes, that's
So
an
here's a
issue.
good lesson. So
Yes.
I help people like yourself improve your communication so you make it about the other person. People like praise, Mohammed. You have to find the right ways to praise them to then get them like, oh, this person loves me. And then when you and then you make yourself, you ask a question of them, a very direct, clear question. And I promise you, as a result of doing that and removing you will get better results.
Well,
And
that's pretty well said by you. But there's a little one more problem, because obviously you have to give your introduction as well. So you have to give a brief introduction of yourself, that who you are, whom I am to talking with you. So you have to
watch
give.
this. Watch this. I don't tell anyone anything, and I get people paying me. I'm going to show you something. You like transparency. If you like transparency, you're going to love this. All right. So just in October. All right. In September and October, you see $3,000.
Yes, I can see that clearly.
Okay, good. So your audience sees it. How did I pick up that person? They said, Jamie, what do you do? It was networking. They said, what do you do? All right, so watch this. We're going to role play this, Mohammed. I'll say for you word for word, what do you do? You say, Jamie, what do you do? Here's what I do. I'll get you to value me without me telling you anything about myself. All right?
Okay.
Okay, so you say, what do you do? I'm like, Mohammed, that's very interesting. You asked me that. My clients have shared that what I do is very valuable. Are you like me and my clients? Would you say the ability to communicate is important?
Yes, I would say it is important. The ability to communicate is important.
Why? Why for you personally?
Because obviously you have to convince. Basically, you have to make it clear, make things clear for other person. And
so it sounds to me like you value it. If you're better at communication, would you put way more money in your pocket?
yes, obviously I will do.
Okay, obviously. If I can share things around communication that you don't currently know, all right, would you invest in yourself? Are you a genuine person where you would invest?
I would love to invest. Obviously, no one who will not want to invest. I will love to invest if it is
Exactly.
worth. Yes.
Okay. Have I told you anything of what I do, who I am, or anything of that nature? Or have I just got you to share with me through questions that you value what I bring to the table? All right. Because I get people to do things without telling them anything. And that, my friend, is the magic of convincing.
Yes.
People
Now I got the point. Yes.
People overshare without, you don't have to tell someone something. I could show you. Can I share I'm going to show you something right now. Your audience, can I share the screen?
Yeah, you can. Actually, you cannot share the screen. Let me allow you. Okay. Now I think you can share.
Okay, I'm going to show a Mr. Miyagi play. Just go with me on this.
Okay.
All right, just to help you out. If I want a date, it's the same thing in a business. All right, just so you know. All right, so I'm just showing this. All right. So is everything virtual, right, Mohammed? Everything's online.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
If I want a date, I'm not going to tell her anything about me. I'm just going to ask 3 questions. What, why, how? In this part, she goes, motivate me. I just said, if you could pick one characteristic that you want when choosing to go on a date with someone, what would it be? She said, chivalry. I said, I believe chivalry is important. Why did you pick that? Right. It shows how someone will treat you. And quite frankly, there are not too many men with that. I said, so if I'm able to illustrate chivalry and I'd have respect is important in the way I treat someone, would you be up for meeting up? Would that feel like you met someone rare? She says, I like your response. The answer is yes. So basically, I'm sharing with you, you get the date. I didn't tell her anything. I didn't tell her I'm British, 6'2", nothing, Mohammed. Yes. It's not telling, it's asking. And then you just match the 2.
Well, I got that. I got the point. Yes, that's the point. Exactly.
You're not finding out what the entrepreneurs value before you are inviting them to your podcast.
Yes. Well, I have to do research about that particular person, which I want to contact, and then I ask him questions.
A little bit customized, and it's very short. You want a very short email, all right, okay, that says something nice about them, and then poses a very clear question.
Yes.
I would say, would you like to be big on a global scale? All right, question mark. You'll get way more response. How would you like to have more global recognition in your business? What entrepreneur is going to say, no, I don't want more global recognition in my business, Mohammed?
Yes.
Everyone's going to say they want more global recognition. All right. And they don't, you know, 900 people is a fair amount of people to watch something.
Yes, you're right. All right, so that concludes our dialogue. It was a very good conversation with you, sir. And I really liked the way you described all those questions and all that stuff. And it was a real great learning experience, especially that last question where we had a good debate as well. So if there is any message you want to communicate for all that people back here in Pakistan, what would be your message, conclusion, final?
Okay, there's a great expression that I live by. It's called burn the back of your mind. Go with a notion of I'm going to either thrive or I'm going to fail at this, but I'm going to go for it. There's no plan B. And when you shoot for it that way, you will have more success. If you always have in the back of your mind as you're starting out, I can always go and get a job. That is what's going to end up your psyche, and what you think about things is what's going to be your outcome. The same way you were psychologically saying, yes, but Jamie, you have to convince. That's your psyche, Mohammed.
Yes, right? That's in my mind. That's my way of thinking. Actually, that's what okay. I have studied. That's what people taught me. Actually.
Okay, and I'm here to share with you that inhibits you rather than helps you excel, because you're going in with a limited psychology.
Yes, that's limited.
All right? I have to convince someone. No, you have to get them to convince themselves. Okay. All right, and there's a reason that there's a 2% club. Warren Buffett is in the 2% of financial. All right, health and fitness. Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 2% of healthy and fitness. All right, communication. The masses ask terrible questions or have terrible psychology that gives a limited mindset. When you study the reverse of it, you get the other person to sell themselves. You're going to end up having elevated success. So burn the boats is my final advice to anyone out there. Don't have a plan B. Shoot for the stars with it.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. It was a great time with you, and I really appreciate that you managed time from your busy schedule, and it's really good to see and good to talk all that stuff about entrepreneurship, and it's a real good learning experience for all of us here back in Pakistan.